The Penguin, my favorite show that I'm looking forward to each and every week. Yeah, I'm a little behind, but let me talk about episodes 3 and 4. Victor and Sofia get it some attention. Let's talk about it right now. All right, I am Pops, and yes, I've been going through Penguin. That's right, walking along with you guys at home. Episode 3 is titled Bliss, and it is basically about this guy. That's right, Victor gets his own backstory, the kind of different interactions and choices that he has to make. What's he going to do moving forward, partnering with Oz or not? Can he walk away from the little taste of crime, power, and money that he's already gotten? That's the essence of this episode. And I have to admit, I was kind of like, man, going through it, but I have to be honest, I'm fine with it as long as we're not going to spin our wheels too much here. Let's get right back onto the Penguin. I have to say, the one thing here is I want to give credit to the actor and the performances. Again, everything about this episode is fantastic. I love the ambiance, the lighting, the different areas, and how it's shot, edited, pieced together. I like the fact that obviously Colin Farrell is killing it as Oz. Sofia's been great. All the elements in this episode are fine. I will say I didn't care for the actress as playing the romantic interest. I also don't think that the script did a good job of Victor sort of like selling his new life to her and why he's torn or not, or just sort of like he speaks in code and he's trying to keep her safe. I get what he's going for, but I feel like it didn't have sort of like any gravity of what's actually going on in play. So the biggest twist here is that we're going to sit down and we're going to bring in the triads. That's right. We're going to bring in some more gun running as Sofia and Oz got to figure out a way to move their drug of choice, got to figure out how to move Bliss, get it out on the streets, and they're going to turn to the Chinese. Oz knows a guy who knows a guy kind of thing. And you really already just know none of this is going to go particularly well. However, what I like about the show is kind of manifested in this one. That is, it's building all of the pieces and the groundwork for how Gotham is corrupt. Like everything is upon everything. You've got Russians, you've got the Falcones and the Maronis, and now we have triads, things like that, that have really been crucial to understanding why this city would need a Batman. Because once you start factoring in super genius and crazy overlords and all the different things that we're going to get in the Batman Rogue Gallery, it's done really well. I like this. I like this a lot. Then we quickly turns here where Sofia and Oz are kind of like they're partnered up and they're going to go after. That's right. Poor Michael Kelly. He's banging the boss's wife, and Sophia's going to use it to her advantage to pull him in and have him speak on her behalf and get this deal done with the triads. It was done really well to kind of thread everything together. Here's the scene. We're in the club. They're passing out bliss. They're trying to win everybody over and how great it's going to be. And Victor's kind of showcased as sort of like the guy who's in charge of passing out the drug. As Sofia's in like a peeing contest here with Oz on who's actually in control. And he's kind of left with his decision as does he dip out or not. And Oz kind of like calls him to the carpet on it. So our final scene, the big spoiler of this episode, is he's there. Sofia's kind of piecing it together. He's basically getting called the Penguin to her by her too. Like he's not getting any respect, and Victor pulls up just in time as the Maronis have a drop on them, and it goes crazy because he barrels into them. He drives full speed in here to save Oz. Saves Oz's life. Gets the one guy. Oz shoots a guy, jumps in, drives away without Sofia, and that's how the episode's going to end. All in all, I like this episode. I think it did a good job. Did all the elements that it needed to do. It makes me understand Victor a little bit more and actually continues to cut ties from his past and explain how he got here. So let's go on to the next episode. All right, there's not a lot to be said about this episode that's not about Cristin Milioti. It's a flashback sequence where we can kind of find out what actually happened to Sofia and her Oz and the role. This is her speaking to the reporter, how that's going to go sideways. Oz is her driver, so you get a little bit of interactions there. And then, of course, this is stuff with the family. This is weird to bring in Mark Strong instead of John Turturro. Don't know what happened there. Joker and I were talking offline about this, and I think I basically think that John Turturro has no interest in coming back with sort of like a de-aging thing, so they just hired Mark Strong. Mark Strong's fantastic, so there's really no harm with this. It's fine. And especially with this long, drawn out, he's going to know that Sofia's talking to reporters. What are you going to do with her? Are you going to kill your own daughter or not? The tension kind of goes back and forth because the brother doesn't know what to do. He's completely useless. There's other people involved. And long story short, Oz is the one that kind of gives her up that she's been talking to reporters. And the backstory is that it's tied to the fact that she suspects that her dad actually killed the mom too. He's been killing people. This is all part of it. And then they pin it on her. They put everything on her. Now, this is not bad. It's an amalgam of 3 or 4 different pieces from comic books. It works okay. She doesn't. So the difference is Cristin Milioti for the show is fantastic, and it works really well for this version of Sofia. Sofia in the comics is a lot more older, with a different sort of like edge to her. The matriarch in the Maroni fan that jumps out briefly at the end of the last episode, she feels more like what Sofia Falcone is in the comic books, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work badly for this sort of like prequel era, early Penguin, early Sofia type stuff. So I can actually hope that we'll go through with this and actually put Sofia where she actually needs to end up, which would be even better for her character going forward. We'll see if they do that or not. And then basically everything in the episode is Cristin Milioti still in scene, man. She's fantastic. We do get a quick little introduction to Magpie. She's a villain that's been around for many, many years in the comic books. But it's really all about her suffering, being attacked, being tortured, being drugged. And then we get her meeting Dr. Rush, who we know that she's actually interacting with him on the outside now. That's kind of being set up as well. So basically the entire episode is just this visually beautifully edited, stunning deconstruction of a human being. And I don't mean that in the same way that a lot of people are critiquing modern cinema with deconstructionism and that kind of thing. I mean, like, no, we're really seeing how you could break someone down in their sane mind, go through all of this. She was promised to be there for 6 months. She's being tortured, all this other stuff. And they twist it and turn it. Oh, no, they're going to try her on everything. She's not sane, so we're going to leave her in here in Arkham. And they basically just drive her to become the murderer they accused her of being. And then on the outside, of course, she's trying to figure out how to piece things together. The doctor and her have some tensions, but reality is nothing actually manifests. And we cut to her basically because the irony is connecting the dots between the Sofia we've seen the first 3 episodes to this one, even with the backstory, it still feels a little jagged. She behaves in this episode so methodically and crazy that it's a little hard to believe she's the same character. So I get it. The Oz triggering moment, like he's the one that betrayed her. He's betrayed her again. She's totally screwed. What is she going to do kind of thing. So I think it's just, it's fine. I just don't want to spin my wheels. I just want to stay here. So it is actually done really well on the twists and turns on how she deals with all of these people to get her revenge and take them out of the equation and save one little family member. And then at the end of the episode, we're going to move on. So I have to be honest, I'm enjoying it. I just don't want more time spent. We've got a lot of Victor and a lot of Sofia now. Okay, we're good. We don't need another episode on Maroni's. We don't need another. We're good. We need to get on Penguin. We need to get back to the story. Episode 1 is fantastic. Episode 2 was kind of a step down. It still had some good moments. You see Oswald doing different things with, especially because of the ties to the mother and things like that. So now that he's had all of his own issues with Victor, can he trust him? Can he not? Does he want to leave it? Does he not? Sofia and all that. Now we're into the point of like, get the foot on the gas. Let's create some good chaos. And the Sofia versus Penguin, Maroni's, all this stuff needs to come to a head. That's what I want to see. Still the best show that I'm watching right now. And I'm enjoying and looking forward to every single week. Colin Farrell is still fantastic. Cinematography, all the technical craft stuff is fantastic. Cristin Milioti has exceeded my expectation and then some. I think everyone else in the cast has been fine. I don't think anyone else is getting anything that's particularly like completely noteworthy. It's all about her and Colin Farrell's characters, who both at this point should be nominated for all the type of Globe and Emmy type awards that they should be nominated for, because Lord knows we give it to people who perform significantly less challenging work than these two have. So that's my take on it. Let me know if you're watching it. Again, I think it's the best show that I'm watching right now. I enjoyed it and will enjoy it, I think, even more so as we get into the real nuts and bolts of what we want to see, the Penguin rise to power. So take care, everybody. I am Pops.